So, very strong player. I know the casual card club is meant just to be for casual chill play. But when you're one of the most steady and consistent players in the game, one of the few people who actually played this game at more than like once a month, I'm gonna say that gives you an advantage. And I'm kind of eager to see what kind of advantage BlackRoseDragon has cooking. If there is an opportunity for Rose to run away with the tournament, this is it. I want to see this man cook. And that, of course, ain't sneezing at Hawken and what they might be capable of doing as well. Absolutely phenomenal player. I believe made it through the Baby Jelly Cup some time ago. So I'm eager to see how they perform in this battle against Black Rose, who is currently the second seed. And in one of my personal favorites maps, I remember this used to be one where I'm like, this is pointless. Why would anybody want to go here? It's just X marks the garden, but worse. I was so wrong. I'm so wrong. I was so wrong. Look how great this match is already shaping up. Lots of interesting plays, lots of combo setups. Really good coverage from Hawken, and this harmony is killer. This is a phenomenal harmony, not only filling up one of Rose's bases, but very clearly, that can be comboed with the Scrapper to reach into one of Rose's other bases. Like, yeah, Rose got this crusty Sean, but I want to see the Scrapper come in. I know you got the combo, I know you want the combo, but look at this play. Look at this play and tell me it's bad. That basically interferes with every single space Rose has. There's still a way for Hawken to continue to do damage, and Hawken still has, like, their whole corners full and free to kind of play around with, unless Rose has a method to be able to use that special block closing in. This might be a point where it's worth considering trying to do some base building to prevent that from happening. Because I imagine Rose might be thinking about trying to break through at this point. There's still a lot that can be done on the other parts of the field, but it's too appetizing. That's too good of a spot to pass up on. So Rose is probably going to go for something that grants special here. Gets his special. He now has 3 special, which means he can go for a very aggressive play and take in Hawken's base. Which means that all the impressive plays that Hawken has gone for so far could just immediately fall apart. I actually would say that the last play that Hawken made might have been game losing if Rose has the play I'm thinking he's got. Because despite everything, Rose has the point lead. And now that he's got 3 special, like, you can see Hawken struggling to find places to play things. He thinks he's safe. He thinks he's safe. His goose is cooked. If he plays this small fray, his goose might be cooked. We have a Squid Beacon. He still has another chance. Rose did not go for an aggressive play yet. That Rapid Blaster being positioned in the base might be enough. It might be enough. He needs to do something in his base. If he dabbles any longer, Rose can destroy his... He could just cook his entire place. That is too passive. Do that later. That spot is not for contention. He is in serious danger now. Hawken needs to realize how much danger they are in right at this exact moment. Maybe Rose is going to continue to play passively. But, like, if I was on Rose's seat, I see a chance to do some damage, and I'm going to take it. I think Hawken now sees that the potential risk here. That is a very solid play. definitely made the right call with that, just the most previous move. Oh. Oh, Hawken is cooked. Rose just won. That's it. Hawken just lost. Yep. No, hit the give up. You can't bring this back. Rose has the point and special lead. Give up. You just lost. Rose taking advantage was absolute. Like, I know for a fact that the reason it took so long was Rose didn't have the piece. Didn't have something to break through. Finally got the sprinklers. Fuck it. I'm just heck with it. I'm taking this. I'm making a move. And then you saw like Hawken be like, oh no, I need to do something now. Hawken played way too passively there. Had so much control. And then just started playing in pieces that there's no reason for Rose to ever play in. Absolutely shot themselves in the foot there. Like, if they had the pieces to just start building in their base. If they had done that when they first looked at that splat bomb and were like, all right, these other spots, nobody's gonna touch this. I'm just gonna start building base. If they did it, if they made their actions one turn sooner, that game would have been theirs. But the fact that they just waited. They're like, I got this. They rested on their laurels and they ate pavement for it. You do not underestimate the regular. The beefy regular duelist. Right here. BlackRoseDragon, the beefy regular duelist. With the phenomenal plays there. Just saw that opportunity. We're going to be heading into Sticky Thicket with our next game. And Hawken has some strong play. Big man right there. That is a strong opener. Covers so much of the center field. You always got to be worried about those side corners. But a turn one being that center field is super important. This is a great big man. Fully respected. Terrifying Megalodontia coming in right on the side. But I think this is... There's so many ways yeah, you just counter it with your own joke. I don't know how Rose counters this without going for a hard read. And then off of this, Hawken has a lot of plays. There's literally has to be a hard read from Rose to be able to stop this. Or he is going for his own aggression, in which case then it is self-assured destruction. I feel like the way Rose placed that Joe, this is a self-assured destruction match. Where Rose is just hoping that Hawken's a little too passive with this opening. So he could just completely destroy Hawken. Out comes the ink back. Tries to be defensive. He does have a really solid inning now. But Hawken has a splatter screen. This might be self-assured destruction. Depends on Rose is going to see this and is not going to be like, oh, I should play defensively. Yeah, he's going to be like, okay, you want to play ball? We play ball. That is a phenomenal Ursine anomaly. The only thing that could counter this is a splatter screen. If Hawken goes for this, he's pretty much locked into a defensive, or he's got a section locked in that is way too defensive. There's no point in doing that. Just go for this. It'll be so difficult for Rose to be able to punish this. He has the Overlorder! Completely destroyed the Ursine anomaly! Oh! Oh, the humanity! That is a 30-point play right there, my friends. That is 30 points. I was so confident, and I am so proven wrong. That one is just Rose. That's just incredible read, incredible play. And now Hawken is in a... Honestly, Hawken's not in that bad of a position. That was one of those plays that Rose needed to make in order to get back into the game. If he didn't make that move, Hawken pretty much guaranteed won this battle. But as wild and mind-breaking as that was, Hawken actually has a very good shot at winning this still. Like, it's only a 12-point deficit. Most of the board is pretty filled up, so now it's just being smart about where you place things and try to maximize point gain as much as possible. Which isn't easy to do. That's a snatcher spot. But this is still anybody's game. Another strong read from Rose. Going to get a special off of that. Very well done. And we are quickly running out of space. There's only that top corner really left. Rose definitely can take advantage of it because of that one very exquisite specials block that's just sitting right there, waiting and ready. The starter piece from this entire map, from this game. I feel like he's locked into something there. He's been just doing play after play after play. Doesn't go for it, which means that Hawken is able to catch up here. And with the Little Judd, there's one spot for Little Judd. Literally a spot, and you... Oh! Oh, that's a sprinkler spot. That's a special sprinkler spot. Yeah, no, that's incredible. You pop sprinkler, put it in there. Yeah, it costs a special, but you gain 2. Yeah, he sees it. Or actually, no, you gain way more than just 2. Because that's 1, 2, 3, 4 special off of... Yeah, he's gaining 3 special off of this. These are the kind of plays you need to be able to keep up with BlackRoseDragon. Hawken going to be currently in the point lead. There's little to do on this field without small pieces. So Rose might be passing here. Hawken might be completely in the lead as we move into the final 3 turns. He goes for the pass. They're both tied on special. Hawken has the lead in points. He can get another special with the Tentatek. There's a couple of clean spots where he's guaranteed to get a Tentatek position. Not worth specialing, in my opinion. But like, there's a couple of clean spots where you will get 1 special off the Tentatek. There is not anywhere on the map where you can get 2. So if you're... So that would be a nice passive play. It's better than passing because you're gaining 2 points and you're filling up the board more. He's going to go for that one. Definitely respect that one. Makes that a little bit harder to kind of punish and fill up. And now he's widened his lead, keeping up that special game. And now both are going to go all out. This next play is going to determine who is, like, set to win this. And like I said, Rose needed that read not to win, but to get back in the game. He's still struggling a lot. He has lost a lot of tempo and is just barely hanging on. No point in worrying about the special here. Hawken just needs points. Unless he doesn't have a 3-12 to play, in which case then he needs the 4-11. I don't think this 4-9 is the right move to make. Rose goes in for the E leader. Stays nice and strong. He's now in the lead. The E leader, even if it's perfect, that might not be enough. If Rose finds... Let's see. So that, yeah, that's 20. That's 20 gained from that. Yeah. If Rose can find a 312 that just does a little bit better, he wins. Or it just even ties it up. He's got he's got a point advantage on his special as well. And that is going to make a difference. As he clutches it out by the skin of his teeth. The Tentatek play up there actually cost Hawken that round. If I had replay set up again, we would go back and I would look at that specific moment. But because that Tentatek went there, that was 2 extra points. If he put it anywhere else and got a special off of it, it made it just a little more awkward. Instead of making a big dense pile there, Hawken would have won that round. There's a lot of things you can say were like defining factors, but that one is actually a really easy one that could have been chosen differently. And Hawken would have won by 2 points. And none of this would have been possible if Rose didn't get that read with the Overlorder. So, heading in to our next game here. This looks scary. This looks scary, but Hawken's still in this. Rose just needs one more win to be able to advance in bracket. But Hawken is fully capable of doing a reverse sweep. We've seen what this kid is capable of. And we have seen some incredible plays. The biggest problem is just resting on morals, making very small mistakes. I wouldn't even call those mistakes ultimately. They're just Rose being goated with the sauce. Very solid defensive Octo Disco. Going to combo really nicely with Little Judd here. Follows up phenomenally with Barazushi. Rose only has one special. You don't need to do this. I'd probably go for the Little Judd to prevent disruption, potential risk of disruption going on in that center field. Though it would be weird for Rose to make a play like that. Going in for a very aggressive Ultra Stamp here. Looking to maximize points while breaking into his base. Ooh, that is a really good Ultra Stamp. There's very few ways for Rose to be able to kind of break through that. Ends up making the call to go for Inkja, as he did have his 3 specials, and both are now in each other's bases. Even though it would not have been a good play, I still kind of would have liked to see the Little Judd played here. Because it would have got, like, kept a lot of those pieces still. It would have claimed 4 points back. It would have been cute. Ooh, just dropping a spike in the field, just completely obliterating Hawken's base. I really want that YouTuber to be able to work, but it won't work. It does not work in his base. So now the name of the game is trying to take over Rose's territory. Hawken does have the point lead, as long as they continue to play things safe, play things smart, they can absolutely hold that and deepen it. Dropping the ELD a little bit higher means that the Mudmouth has a very clean and confident combo piece. Going low, though, does do a lot more disruption damage and actually red Rose out. Getting some very valuable points in the process. That's an easy trick to fall into, or you would accidentally grant Rose in special. Seeing that opening, I assume that, yeah, Hawken is going to be like, okay, so we're saving the Mudmouth for there, because it fits perfectly. Which means custom Dually Squelchers is going to cause as much disruption of this remaining field as possible. Your shots going in to fill that space might have actually been better to try to just cover it. Oh, that would... If Hawken wanted to go for reads, this was a perfectly serviceable play too, though. Like, I would have loved to see that read come out and be rewarded, but this is a perfectly solid play. It does a lot of heavy damage as well. And Hawken is definitely making this work, as we've got now the Splatana Wiper filling in more board state. Rose probably has some cards to play into Spike. Despite a chunk of it... Oh, actually can't! Because of this disruption, Hawken was able to fit into that board state. Lil Judd finally coming in, actually finds a different spot entirely. Hawken is running wild with this game. Rose does have the special lead. But that doesn't mean much when we have a curling bomb that can grant 2 special in 2 different spots. Gets a free one, still has a 2 special spot for this curling bomb. Rose is in a desperate position here. Go for the curling bomb. Middle right. And you could play a monstrous... Oh, you have nothing. Never mind. That would just be BM. That would just be BM. If there is a way to get, I guess, 3 special off of this, or 2 special would be something. I don't know what they really go for here. Hawken has a very interesting deck. I'm very curious. This Splatana Wiper is really nice. Grants 4 special. Builds up back up to 4 special. Actually, builds up to 5 special. Here comes the Octoline doing some nice damage there, filling up more space. Still a 15-point lead for Hawken, which means a 4-11 is more than enough, especially when it's a 21-point special. This could be perfect and Rose still loses. And Hawken finally secures their first point. Just brilliant recovery there. Just making sure that plays fit nice and well. Didn't go for the overly aggressive read. That would have been awesome. It would have been super awesome, but it wasn't needed. It was not needed at all. Just had to play the Dually Squelchers right into a spot where it's like, this will cause the most disruption, this will cause the most damage. And then, especially once they realize, like, yeah, I have the Mudmouth down here that I can play. I mean, Rose might probably also had a Mudmouth, but luckily for Hawken, didn't get the play out, went for the Dually Squelchers, filled in that area, dropped the Mudmouth down there, just had 2 nice plays, and then Rose was bricked. Very impressive, very, very fantastic win for Hawken there. Keeping this fight going. And we've got our next stage locked in as we're going to be going to squared. And this is also probably a good opportunity for me to make make sure I catch the next match I want to stream. There. Alright, we should be safe. And by safe, we are heading over to... Oh, I thought we were going to Square Square. No, we're going to River Drift. A very, very different stage, very different environments. And Hawken started off with some pretty solid cards. I like this opening. There could be much better cards to get, but having Kraken Royale is actually pretty solid for aggression in the mid. Gnarly Eddie is probably best used for base comboing. Actually, Gnarly Eddie just kind of curving around the corner there would be very solid. And then you could follow up with the Kozuna as just a very strong defensive combo. Make it anticipating the worst there. I feel like Hawken... I don't know what they're thinking. Oh, they're planning very far in. They're doing some serious calculations on exactly how they want to do things. And so the question is, what's the least valuable card in this hand? It might be Octobomber. Actually thinking of the Flash Blaster. It's not very big. It's not very impactful. You need to position it to stop something from reaching in, and unfortunately, I think that's it. Something tells me that that's the end of this game. Just Flash Blaster being so unimpactful. I pray that this is not how things end, but that is a game-losing play right there. Had so many bigger, more impactful cards that could have done at least more to fill up that middle field. And maybe do some more defense to prevent Rose from being able to break through. But it's so uninteresting. Like it was so much of a nothing burger of a play. Can't even get the hero shot to fit. And don't get me wrong, that is a pretty notable misplay, but I feel like it's less a Hawken mistake there, and more Rose just played a really good card in a really good moment. Like, that was just a really, really good catch from Rose, who hasn't been able to capitalize on it. But just the fact that that's there, and Hawken's special, like, the Clash Blaster is set up well. That is a good place to pop a special later and do some serious damage. But the question is, what are you doing with that? And all you're really going to be able to do is claim points, which are great. But again, that's not going to be nearly as impactful as Hawken might want. That is a decent defensive play. Rose can technically still work around it, or if Rose makes the play now. But yeah, no, looking at the state, Hawken's got a point disadvantage. Got a special disadvantage. Got a board disadvantage. Brit on with 7 turns left. I think this one's cooked. Breaks my heart. Especially off of what we've seen from Hawken. But this is just kind of one of those situations where, unfortunately, sometimes you're just gonna make not great decisions. You're gonna make not great calls. People are always still learning and still growing and figuring things out. But end of the day, this deck is... What is Ouroboros doing in this deck? Five turns left. We are at a 34-point deficit. A third brick for Hawken. A splatter screen could not save this. Pentatech could not save this. This is a washout. This is absolute obliteration coming in for Rogues, who is 3 points away from having doubled the score of Hawken. There's no coming back from this. Now it's doubled the score. Hawken is not recovering. Has more special. Is... Oh, okay. Yeah, no, Hawken surrendered. Hawken is new boot goofing here. But this one's probably a result of unfortunate deck building. And yeah, no, that what was that? Turn 3 or turn 2? That was the turn 2 play. Just that turn 2 play did nothing. It was such a it was a very much a just one of those, like, I put something on the board and it had no impact. One of the biggest challenges in Tableturf is understanding neutral.